Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Brand with 360 Yield Center. As many of you are aware of, with 360, we are a nitrogen company. We're focusing on understanding nitrogen better than what we maybe thought we did in the past. For years and years, myself included, being around anhydrous ammonia, being around UAN, being around different products of nitrogen, nitrogen is characterized as a mobile nutrient. And what we've learned with mobility of that nutrient is not necessarily a side-to-side movement of mobility. Typically, as that strong surge comes out of those bars, gets into the soil, makes contact with moisture, it sticks. As that goes through a process of converting into nitrate through several processes, what we see is as that starts to let go, just with gravity, we start to see that nitrate start to just trickle itself down. So we've done a lot of testing last year, and we're going to continue to do it this year. So we take this board out, and basically we know the injection point is about on this center bag. And what we're finding is that even into May, even into June, we still see a high surgeon of nitrogen laying right here, moving itself from the 0 to 12 down to the 12 to 24, and that the majority of the nitrogen that's on these outside bags is just soil residual nitrogen. And we'll see that move slightly over a period of time as our soils start to release and get back nitrogen. But what we're focusing on as a nitrogen company is, while you guys are focusing on getting the crop in the ground, making that seed bed, creating the potential, we're trying to focus on where that nitrogen is to give you tools and give you knowledge as you guys get prepared to make those applications in season, to make sure that you can capture the yield and that nitrogen is not a limiting factor.
Our soil test results are in, and we just want to take a few minutes to very quickly go through them just to show you what we found. And so you'll see on this first slide, you'll see hole number 1, hole number 9, and everything in between, with the injection point roughly around hole number 5. So the first slide that we're going to look at here is nitrate. And so the question is we applied this in the fall. It's now the 10th of April. We haven't planted. This field had 150 pounds of actual N on it with no stabilizer. And so these are the results that we found. And so you'll see the outlier similar to what I said earlier. That's predominantly not farmer applied nitrogen, or at least not recently farmer applied nitrogen. It's residual nitrogen, nitrogen that's coming out of organic manner at a slow rate. At different times, those numbers can go up and down based on mineralization or immobilization and just different things. But what we want to focus on is that injection point. So if you look in the center, the black bars are the level of nitrate concentration, pounds per acre, coming out of those holes. And so you'll see 47, 94, and 32 in the 0 to 12. But what we're learning and what I want you to bring to your attention is really the red bars, which is the 12 to 24 depth. And so we got 94, 94, 58. And so what we're seeing is that as that anhydrous comes out of those bars, it's sticking very hard once we get it in contact with water. And then as we go through the conversion standpoint, that basically that hot spot of ammonium starts to release. It loses its stickiness, so to speak, and it just allows it to start moving itself down as it converts into nitrate. And so the one thing I want to point out here is the higher levels in the 12 to 24 already before planting of that nitrate switching from a stable form into a nitrate form and actually starting to move itself down through the profile with water movement and trickle. And so the next question a lot of people ask, well, what about ammonium? So we sent the same cores in to get an ammonium reading. And so what we're seeing is here on on April 10th, there's very little left in the soil of ammonium. Now you'll see the residual across the outside of the bell curve. You'll see about 4 pounds per parts per million, pounds per acre in the center, basically at the injection point. So the majority of that farmer applied nitrogen here on the 10th of April is actually converted. So a lot of people ask me, well, so what about a stabilizer? And what we see with the stabilizer is that a stabilizer certainly does protect that from the conversion process earlier on. And we are about, those soils typically are about 25 days behind a field without stabilizer. So we are seeing some value of gaining about 25 to 30 days of better protection as we go into the spring before it equals out to be basically with no stabilizer. So, which is very important when we're in that time frame. So just wanted to share this information with you. We continue to look at and try to take information of nitrogen to the next level of timing, of rate, of placement, and how can we get more per pound of farmer applied nitrogen. With that, thank you very much and have a great day.